Let's connect. It is now 8:02 p.m. I want to wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful night. I hope that so far your Tuesday has been good. I want to apologize for our intro saying 5:30 p.m. We'll get that rectified. Our time for Let's Connect will be 8 p.m. as of August 2022. All right, we want to give a special shout out to all our listeners on Facebook, those of you listening to us on YouTube as well, those of you listening on 88.5 Soufre FM. Thank you so very much for joining us on Let's Connect. We want to give a special shout out to the communities of Fort Saint-Jacques, those of you down in Mini, those of you at Belvedere and St. Philip. Good evening to you. Good night, guys, down in Boisden, Belfort, in Deville. We want to say shout out to those in Espérance, those of you at Belle Plaine, Fort Caco, Fort Jalib, Mont Lacroix, Chateau Belair, Zeno. Good night to you guys. Everybody down in Colabet, hello. Welcome to Let's Connect in Sulphur Springs. We want to say hi to everybody down in Diamond, Bouton, Etangs, Margaret Tooth, and of course those of you at Market Road and those of you in Palmies, Fort Beignet, New Development, Wingsville, Church Street, Smoke Hill. Big shout out to you guys. The Gulf, those of you at Lenny's Hill, and big shout out to Bar Drive. I want to say thank you very much for joining us on Let's Connect. So today we're not 100% certain that Honorable Emma Hippolyte will be joining us because there is Parliament today, but she might join us later on in the program if there is time. We have a few announcements. We have first a message from the Honorable Minister. She says, "Greetings, constituents. It is this time of year again when we are all focused on preparing for school and the education of our children. For students attending the SALCC, your deadline for application to the Ministry of Education is August 12th. In Soufre, we are fortunate to have the foundation who will support some of our school children. Application to the foundation is now closed. I will also be providing some support to some parents who need help to ensure their children attend school. Please apply to my office. Deadline for application is August 19th. Please note that persons should receive support from only one source. Let us all work together to improve the education of our children. I thank you, Emma Hippolyte." Okay, so just a little overview of this message. So take note, students who are going into the Arthur Lewis Community College, your parents can apply for you for assistance through the Ministry of Education. The deadline for this application is August 12th. Okay, if you are receiving assistance from the foundation or from any other government source, SSDF, bursary program, if your child is entering Form 1 and getting the $500, then you will be receiving that support. If you are not receiving any of those support from any of those sources, you can apply for support from Emma Hippolyte's office, and the deadline for that is August 19th. Okay. Also, please note that Rise St. Lucia Inc. is in collaborating with Smoke Hill Crew and will be having a back to school book drive. This is taking place at the Soufre Market from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is from August 8th to August 31st. So August 8th to the 31st, Rise St. Lucia Inc. in collaboration with Smoke Hill Crew presents a back to school book drive. This is happening at the Soufre Market from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you can bring in textbooks that you no longer need, that your child has surpassed in previous grades, and then you have the opportunity to trade for new books. Okay, let's take a moment to give a shout out to all those on our live. Good evening to you, Miss Bernadette Nelson. Good night, Calixta Joseph. Thank you for always being locked on to Let's Connect. Good evening, Miss Annie. Good evening, Mrs. Prosper, Sandra Prosper. Thanks for joining us on Let's Connect program. Special good night to all those of you once again in Fort Saint-Jacques. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, we are hoping that persons are going to send in their contributions. We'll be reading in live on air. So any contributions that you would like to share as we move along in the program, please send it on to our live chat. I'll be checking it regularly. All right. Unfortunately, we have to announce the passing of Miss Ima Miss Maxima Joseph, better known as Miss Ima from New Development. We want to extend our deepest condolences to her family and friends. All right. Also, the funeral service of Sabina is taking place tomorrow. That is tomorrow, Wednesday, August 10th. The funeral service of Vincent Wilson, better known as Comsey, also known as Tupac, will be taking place on Friday, August 12th. Okay, so we have a couple of funerals taking place this week. We ask persons to show your support for the grieving families. All right, we also want to announce that there is a meeting for Seine fishermen on Monday, August 15th at 4:30 p.m. at the Fisheries Complex in Soufrière. Once again, there is a meeting for Seine fishermen on Monday, August 15th at 4:30 p.m. at the Fisheries Complex. Okay, just want to also remind Sir Arthur Louis Community College students, please try to get your applications in for the assistance through the Ministry of Education. Deadline is August 12th. All right. We want to give a special shout out to the Emancipation Day Committee, who put on a wonderful freedom concert in collaboration with CDF on Monday, August 1st. So we want to give a special shout out to you guys. Those of you who attended as well, thanks for coming out. The crowd was wonderful. I could see that everybody was having so much fun. So we want to once again thank the organizers, thank the crew, thank CDF, and also to all the sponsors who came out in full force to make the event a success. So congratulations to those of you who were on the committee, those of you from CDF, and those of you at the foundation who were able to do that. Okay, so thanks so very much for coming in. All right. So in recent times, we've been having a lot of discussions, especially with some of the latest deaths we've had in Soufrière and in St. Lucia and in our whole lives. There has been a big issue of cancer. Cancer has been a major situation, taking away so many other persons. Before I continue, condolences goes out to the Matthew families on the passing of their father, Martinez Alcendo. Okay, so condolence messages to the Matthew family on the passing of Martinez Alcendo. And good evening to you, to all those on the live chat once again. All right, so we're going to be taking a little preview on cancer this evening. First off, for those of you who may not know or maybe know a little bit, we're going to answer the first question is, what is cancer? So I did a lot of deep research today, but bear in mind, I am not a doctor. I can stand to be corrected. So if anybody has any corrections for anything that I have to say tonight, and also remember, I'm not a doctor, so my advice is only coming from my readings and my own personal research, okay? So what is cancer? Cancer is a disease in which abnormal cells divide uncontrollably and destroy body tissue. So the body is made up of cells. That is our basic level. That is what we're made of. We're made of cells. So cancer is a disease in which the abnormal cells divide uncontrollably and destroy body tissue. Now, this is like what you would get if you search Google. Like, this is just a typical response to the question, what is cancer? A cancer can grow into or begin to push on nearby organs, blood vessels, and nerves. So this pressure causes some of the signs and symptoms of cancer. So this may be because cancer cells use up much of the body's energy supply. So when you have cancer, all cells in that particular area do not die, and instead they grow out of control, forming new abnormal cells. So these extra cells may form a mass of tissue called a tumor. So some cancers, though, such as leukemia, do not form tumors. So a tumor is not necessarily the defining factor of cancer. It's just something that happens when some of the extra cells that have multiplied form a mass of tissue. So it's called a tumor. All right. According to the National Cancer Institute, about 39.5% of all men and women in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. All right, so we have quite a lot of, that's a high number in terms of statistics. So once again, according to the National Cancer Institute, 39.5% of all men and women in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. So 54% of Americans also say that they or someone else in their immediate family has been diagnosed with cancer at some point. All right, so this is another high percentage. 54% of Americans say they or someone else in their immediate family has been diagnosed with cancer at some point. All right, so some cancers are more common than others, and you get some of those such as breast cancer, lung cancer, and prostate cancer. These are the most common occurring cancers, but according to my research, there's over 200 different types of cancers affecting different types of the body, different parts of the body. Okay, so I just want to give another shout out to those of you on our live chats. Remember, if you have any contributions towards our topic for this evening, feel free to send in your comments via our Facebook live stream, our live chat, and we will be reading it on air. Okay? All right, so cancer stages can tell you and your team a lot about your disease, including how severe the cancer is, the preferred types of treatment, how likely you are to recover after treatment, and the chances of the cancer returning. Okay? So they might do different tests such as a CT scan or a biopsy to determine the stage of your cancer. Okay? Not all cancers are classified with the same system, but the most common one, you'll get stage 0. That's where the cells are in the same place where they've started, and it hasn't grown, it has not spread. Stage 1, the cancer hasn't grown into nearby tissue. Stage 2, the cancer has grown into nearby tissue. Stage 3, the cancer has grown deeper into nearby tissue and may have spread to nearby lymph nodes, but not to distant parts of the body. But stage 4, this is where the cancer has spread to other parts of the body or other organs, and this is what you call advanced cancer. Okay, so treatment options for cancer would include and will also depend on the type of cancer and the stage. So if it has spread, whether or not, and based on your general health as well. The goal of treatment is to kill as many cancerous cells while reducing damage to normal cells nearby. So with so many advances in technology, these are all things that are able to do through such treatments as surgery, which is where you remove a tumor. So that's the mass of cells. They can directly remove it by surgery, or they can use chemicals to kill it in the form of chemotherapy, or you can use radiation therapy. All right, so now this is not the type of radiation like when they tell you nuclear radiation. This is a different type of radiation. Okay, so that's why like with what you get with x-rays. So the same cancer type in one individual is very different from cancer in another individual. Within a single type of cancer, for example, breast cancer, researchers are discovering that there are certain types that require different treatments. Okay, so if you might say, I have one type of cancer, it's still in my breast, and somebody else has breast cancer, and we're doing different treatments. That is very possible. Not one type works for all. So the branch of medicine which is dedicated to diagnosing, treating, and researching cancer is known as oncology, while a physician who works in the field is called an oncologist. Okay, many cancers can be cured, but in some people, cancer can return. Okay, and some others, they cannot be cured, but treatment is often able to control them for several years. All right, so let's just take a moment to check on our chat if anyone is. All right, we have several big ups coming out from Annie Nicholas. So once again, expressing condolences to the recently deceased Martinez Alcindor and the Matthew family. Sympathy greetings to the Fatal family, and also extending condolence messages to Miss Ima and her family. And shout out to Barron's Drive and the fishermen of Barron's Drive. All right, and a big shout out goes out to all the caretakers, including the supervisor, Mrs. Prosper, who are that's the elderly caretakers. Annie, tell us your daughter's name. So we send belated birthday greetings to Annie's daughter and granddaughter who celebrated yesterday. Send me their names, Annie, so we can give them a shout out. All right, so Annie's been very active in our chat tonight. Thank you so very much, Annie. Remember, if you have any comments regarding our topic for tonight or any other shout outs that you'd like us to send out, feel free to send it to our Facebook live chat. Okay, so tonight we're discussing cancer. We have had so many recent deaths relating to cancer, and persons who have probably got questions and they don't know who to ask, or they're not sure how to do the research. So I did spend my day today doing some research on cancer. So we're going to be looking at some of the aspects of it. So we have here some tips for living a longer, fuller life with cancer. And they're very simple. 1, eat smart. 2, exercise. 3, keep a healthy weight. 4, connect with friends and family. 5, do things you love. 6, stop smoking. 7, limit alcohol. And 8, keep your appointments. All right, so treatments such as chemotherapy and other forms of radiation therapy can cause a variety of side effects, including constipation, which can cause discomfort and further reduce a desire to eat, diarrhea, which can drain your body of nutrients, fatigue, which means you're less active, so you burn fewer calories and don't feel as hungry throughout the day, loss of taste, which can make food unappealing, nausea and vomiting, which can reduce your appetite and cause weight loss. All right, so I know some of this might sound a little familiar with COVID, but loss of taste from COVID and loss of taste from chemotherapy are two completely different things. All right, so a lot of these things always seem similar. When you get sick, you get similar symptoms depending on what it is that's making you sick. So these are some of the side effects of the treatments of chemotherapy. All right. Also, it depends, like we said earlier, on the specific type of cancer that you have. Treatment for breast cancer and treatment for blood cancers often involve steroids. So steroids can actually increase your appetite and increase your blood sugar levels, which might mean that you end up becoming resistant to insulin and therefore you gain weight. So instead of losing weight, it's possible to gain weight if you're getting treatment with steroids. Okay, so like I said, depending on the type of cancer you have, the type of treatment you're receiving. Also, the treatment can cause you to have like less movement, a more sedentary lifestyle, so that can also cause weight gain. So since cancer treatment can lead to fluctuations in your appetite and your body weight, it's important to pay close attention to your diet. In addition to helping you maintain a healthy weight, eating a balanced diet during chemotherapy or radiation therapy can 1, help you manage your treatment side effects, 2, increase your energy, 3, increase your muscle tone, 4, preserve immune function, 5, reduce inflammation. So what you eat is really important when you have cancer. Your body needs enough calories and nutrients to stay strong, but the disease can make it hard to get what you need, which can be different before, during, and after treatment. And sometimes you just won't feel like eating. So you don't need to drastically change your diet, but a few simple tricks to make good for you foods easy and appetizing. So on good days, eat lots of protein and healthy calories. So this will keep your body strong and help repair damage coming from the treatment. So foods such as lean meat, chicken, fish, eggs, beans, nuts and seeds, cheese, milk, and yogurt. And also try to eat at least 2.5 cups of fruits and vegetables a day, and include dark green and deep yellow veggies, and also citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits. Colorful foods like these have many healthy nutrients, but also you have to be sure to wash them thoroughly, because you cannot allow any sort of pesticide, insecticide, any type of that sort of chemical into your system. So make sure you wash your fruits and vegetables very well before eating. All right. So also you need to drink plenty of liquids all day, plenty of water, also fresh squeezed juice, and also if you can get some extra vitamins by drinking the fresh juice, it will help with your body getting the nutrients that it needs. So today, most people with cancer are treated as outpatients, meaning they don't have to stay in hospital. So during the time, they often need help, support, and encouragement. Many studies have found that cancer survivors with strong emotional support tend to better adjust to the changes cancer brings, and they have a more positive outlook and often report having a better quality of life. Research has shown that people with cancer need support from their friends. You can make a big difference in the life of someone with cancer. So if someone you know has cancer, we have some tips on what you can do in terms of being a supportive friend. What we're saying is, although you know the person has cancer, please do not go over to their house and start bawling and start crying and being like you're going to die. That's not helpful. You need to go with a positive mindset, a positive attitude. So make sure your friend knows that they're important to you. Show that you still care for your friend despite changes in what they can do or how they look. Cancer can be very isolating. Try to spend time with your friend. You may be a welcome distraction and help them feel like they did before cancer became a major focus of their life. Many people worry that they don't know what to say to someone with cancer. Try to remember that the most important thing is not what you say, it's that you're there and willing to listen. Try to hear and understand how your friend feels. Let them know that you're open to talking whenever they feel like it, or if the person doesn't feel like talking, let them know that that's okay too. Some people find it hard to accept support as well. So even when they do need it, don't be surprised or hurt if your friend refuses help. It's not about you. It's about their pride and their need for independence. So you can look for small practical things that your friend may need or just enjoy. So think about what their average day is like and what might make it a little better. It's always good to laugh and smile too, so look for fun things for your friend. It can be difficult to know what to say to someone with cancer. Unless you've been there yourself, you can't possibly understand how it feels. So many people say inappropriate things without realizing it. We often do the best we can, but our efforts sometimes still fall short. So how do you find the right things to say? Years ago, people spoke in whispers about cancer, but today, despite its prevalence and advances in treatment and increases in survival rates, many people still don't know how to handle the news. At some point, someone you know will likely get cancer. When it happens, you should be prepared to communicate appropriately about the disease. Now, at this point, I have to say that it's sad that we come to this point where we have to say something like, someone you know will likely get cancer, because it really has touched on such a global scale that almost anybody can say they either know, have someone in their family, or they themselves have had cancer. That is how prevalent it is. So many cancer survivors share similar stories of awkward encounters and upsetting comments made by well-meaning individuals. Their collective observations help us define what we call cancer etiquette, or rules of conduct for communicating with the cancer community. Since each person experiences cancer differently, one approach does not necessarily work for everybody. So the information, it serves as almost like a baseline, a starting point for talking to somebody with cancer. Okay, so we're going to go over the tips for talking to someone with cancer, and then we're going to return to our live chat for any comments, or if you have any stories you'd like to share based on some of the tips that we're sharing. Please don't hesitate to share it with us on our 88.5 live Facebook chat. Okay, so tips for talking to someone with cancer. 1. Don't ignore them. Some people disappear when someone they know gets cancer. The worst thing you can do is avoid the person because you don't know how to handle it. Cancer can be lonely and isolating as it is. Tell them, I'm here for you, or I love you and we'll get through this together. It's even okay to say, I don't know what to say, or send a note that says, I'm thinking of you. Just stay connected. 2. Think before you speak. Your words and actions can be powerful. One comment can instantly undo someone's positive mood. Don't be overly grave and mournful. Avoid cliches like hero and battle. If the person gets worse, does it mean they didn't fight hard enough? No. So try to imagine if you were in your friend's shoes, what you would want someone to say to you. 3. Follow their lead. Let the person with cancer set the tone about what he or she wants to talk about. It doesn't always have to be about cancer. Chances are your friend wants to feel as normal as possible. Tell him or her about something funny that happened. Allow your friend to talk about cancer if he or she wants to. And save the pity eyes and the pity voice. 4. Keep it about your friend, not you. Don't lose your focus. Avoid talking about your headache, your backache, etc. This isn't about you. And as bad as you feel, he or she feels worse and may not be interested in hearing about how hard this has been on your life. Don't put him or her in the position of having to comfort you. Only ask questions if you truly want to hear the response. 5. Just listen. Sometimes just being there to listen, really listen, is the best thing you can do. Let the person with cancer talk without interrupting. You don't always have to have all the answers. Just a sympathetic ear. He or she may not want to talk at all and would rather just sit quietly. And it's okay to sit in silence. 6. Don't minimize their experience. Try not to say, don't worry, you'll be fine. You don't know that. Instead say, I'm really sorry, or I hope it will be okay. And don't refer to his or her cancer as the good cancer. These statements downplay what he or she is going through. Leave the door to communication open so they can talk about fears and concerns. 7. Don't be intrusive. Don't ask those with cancer questions about their numbers or tumor markers. If they want to talk about their blood results, they will. Give them the freedom to offer this information or not. Also, don't ask personal questions that you wouldn't have asked before, especially when it comes to subjects like sex and religion. 8. Don't preach to them. Don't try to tell the person with cancer what to think, feel, or how to act. You don't know what they're going through, so don't act like you do. Instead of saying, I know how you feel, try saying, I care about you and want to help. Don't suggest alternative forms of treatment, a healthier lifestyle, etc. And don't tell them to stay positive. It will only cause frustration and guilt. 9. Refrain from physical assessments. Refrain from comments about how those with cancer look, particularly if it's negative. They don't need their weight loss or hair loss pointed out to them. And if they just started treatment, don't ask them about potential side effects. If you say anything at all, tell them they look stronger or more beautiful, but mean what you say. 10. Avoid comparisons. Everyone does cancer his or her own way. Don't bring up the private medical problems of other people you know. And don't talk about your friend with cancer who is running marathons or never missed a day of work. Avoid talking about the odds or making assumptions about prognosis. So don't tell the person, but they told you your numbers was up. Why that happening? Don't discuss that sort of thing. Just allow your friend to be who they are. 11. Show them you care. Show those with cancer that they're still needed and loved. Give them a hug. Surprise them with a smoothie, books, magazines, or music. Offer to help. Do something like cooking, do the laundry, babysitting, running an errand. Be specific by asking, what day can I bring you dinner? And offer to help only if you intend to follow through with it and won't expect something in return. Okay, 12. Share encouraging stories. Offer encouragement through success stories of long-term cancer survivors. Avoid saying they had the same thing as you. No two cancers are the same. And never tell stories with unhappy endings. If you know someone with the same type of cancer, offer to connect the two of them. Here are some. I promise to get back into our live chat. Let's touch base with our listeners. Annie sent in her children's name. So Anita and I don't want to butcher her name, Annie. Anita and her daughter want to wish you guys a happy belated birthday. Celebrated your birthdays yesterday. That is the 8th of August. That is a very magical date, Annie. The 8th of the 8th. So I hope that they made all their dreams come true yesterday. So wishing you guys a happy belated birthday. We also want to say big up to your sister Georgiana Gidhari of Myers Bridge, coming from her 4 sisters and 5 brothers. They love you so very much. God is good. You are bouncing back nicely. So they want to send out their love to you. So that's Miss Georgiana Gidhari of Myers Bridge. Also, Annie is saying that she thinks we should check our breasts very early, and early detection is a good thing. Precaution is better than cure. So ladies, do the breast examination. That's very good advice, Annie. Thank you so very much for bringing that up. So ladies, we're getting the encouragement that we need. Please get your mammograms done. Earlier is better than later. Early detection, precaution better than cure. All right. Also big up to Nancy Nicholas and Mr. Charles. Annie shouting you out. Also, she wants to let the men know you too can get cancer, even cancer of the breast. So that is something we need to also tell our men out there, that you need to check on your health as well. Don't think that cancer is for women. Cancer can be for men too, even breast cancer. And worse yet, men have prostates, women do not. So that is something you need to get checked. Don't wait until you get older. There's a statistic I saw, I did not put it in my notes, but there was a statistic that the older you are, the more likely you are to get cancer. Persons under 50 are less at risk, and persons over 50 and over the age of 65 are more at risk. So the older you are, the more you should get tested. Miss Calixta Joseph, thank you for that as well. She's saying we need to get our yearly pap smears. That's for the ladies. So remember, get your yearly pap smear. Get it scheduled. So it's not, I know some people say it's uncomfortable, but it's not that bad. It's only once a year. So it's something that you can do regularly enough to make sure that you have all the appropriate checkups, that you all set as we get older. These are the type of things we need to focus on as we get older. Focus on our health, especially our men. Ladies, encourage the men to get out and do these tests. All right, we want to say good night to Branson Solange. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Connect. Miss Lucretia Serville from Palmis, thank you so very much for tuning in. Thanks for keeping it locked on to 88.5 Sufre FM. We want to say Annie is saying good night to her sister once again, coming from her kids and her husband at Myers Bridge. All right, we're definitely loving your enthusiasm tonight. Annie, thanks for keeping it locked to Let's Connect. We want to give a big shout out to Baron's Drive once again. Baron's Drive in the house tonight, keeping us very, very, very informed. So let's get back into our topic. Okay, so we have some gift options and gift ideas when it comes to making your patient feel loved. First off, do not buy flowers. Plants and flowers harbor fungal spores that could place patients, especially those that have transplant and cellular therapy, it puts them at higher risk for infection. So don't buy flowers. Additionally, flowers may trigger emotional distress when the plant wilts and dies. So it might trigger an emotional response from them when they see the plant is dying or the flower is dying. So avoid buying flowers for cancer patients. You can buy handmade paper flowers or silk flowers or glass flowers, or you can bring in fresh fruit bouquets, but ask permission from their physician before sending fresh fruit, because a person who has had transplant or cellular therapy may still be at risk for infection. So just be aware, if your patient has had transplant therapy, that you cannot get them flowers and you cannot get them fruit. Do not buy perfumes or scented toiletries. Radiation and chemotherapy alters your sense of smell. So smells that are usually pleasant can become too strong, can cause you to be nauseous. Do not buy lemon glycerin swabs because they dry out the mouth. You can buy unscented lotions and lip balms. Dry skin and lips are a side effect of chemotherapy, so lotions and chapsticks are a great choice as long as they are unscented. Do not buy sweets or candy. Most patients have dietary restrictions or follow nutrition guidelines that limit sugar. Additionally, chemo or radiation to the head can alter the taste buds, and therefore they will not be able to eat certain foods and not be able to taste it. Also, it can cause mouth sores. Chemotherapy can cause mouth sores, so they might not be able to eat some certain foods, and we're trying to restrict sugar as well. So avoid sweets, avoid candy. You can buy them a gift certificate for their grocery store, their favorite grocery store, so that way they can shop for what they want, or they can buy something more healthy, nutritious on their own time. Don't give them sad movies or books. The last thing we want is for our cancer patient to feel sad or depressed. You can buy a good funny novel, a funny movie, a new music CD, a magazine subscription, or maybe an audiobook that they can just lie back and listen to it instead of reading, especially if maybe they cannot keep their eyes open if they're fatigued. So you can consider an audiobook. Okay, if you offer your friend or loved one a brief mental escape when they have some music to listen to or a book to listen to, something to keep it light, so you can consider that. Do not buy balloons. Latex or rubber balloons can trigger an allergic reaction. Additionally, the Mylar balloons are not permitted in ICU because they interfere with mechanical equipment. So stay away from the balloons. Do not buy wall hangings, the vinyl window wall hangings, or artwork or decorative. You can buy artwork, window hangings, decorative picture frames, something with a sentimental photo. You can do that. Do not buy get well cards. This may not be true for every cancer patient, but the phrase get well soon can sometimes remind patients of the months or years of treatment and surgery that they still have to go through. You can buy something that says thinking of you, or a blank card and write something personal inside of it. Okay, so a handwritten gift, a handwritten note. Sometimes the gifts that cost nothing are the most precious. Okay, so once again, let's give a shout out to those of you in our Facebook chat. We're going to we're gonna give some more shout outs coming out from Annie Nicholas of Barron's Drive. She wants to give a special shout out to the DR Miss Emma Hippolyte, and says how blessed we are to have you as our district rep. You are a blessing. You started putting us first even before you were elected. I'm very sure that she is happy to hear that, Annie. While we're on that topic, just want to make an announcement. I don't know if but her birthday is coming up. So keep that in mind. Her birthday is coming up. So the month of August, we're celebrating Auntie Emma's birthday. I'm not going to say the date. I let those close to her know. But I'm not going to say the date. But we're celebrating Auntie Emma's birthday very soon in this month. So keep that in mind if you want to get her something nice. Okay? Annie sending all good wishes down your way, Honorable Emma Hippolyte. She says, special good night. Thank you, Annie. Thank you for that special good night. Okay? All right, so we're still employing those of you. I know, like we said earlier in the show, almost everybody can give a story or tell of a time or somebody or some story relating to cancer. I think the very first instance I experienced cancer was while I was still at school. One of my classmates was diagnosed with breast cancer. She is still alive. She is doing very well. She is in remission, I believe. And I saw her not too long ago in Soufrière at the bank, actually. So very happy to see her still going strong. I lost another classmate to cancer a few years back. I've lost teachers. There are family members that have gone through the process, that are still going through the process. We pray to God every day and ask God to keep them healthy, keep them strong, keep them going every single day, taking it one day at a time. But I also had a coworker. That one was an interesting experience because of how she took the information when she was told and when she was given, I think it was just a few months she was given. And she took it all in stride. You know, she was a very strong woman of faith. She made all her preparations and, but she took it all in stride. I never once saw her cry. I'm not saying she didn't, but I never saw it from her. She came to work until she couldn't anymore. She did what she had to do, got her daughter ready to be without her. It was the very first time I ever saw that sort of an experience where somebody prepared everything for themselves, And we know that it is something that's so prevalent in the world that it has even come into the world of entertainment, cancer. So cancer has now pushed itself into our world where we can play a cancer patient on TV. And I know for those of you who are familiar with our soaps, The Bold and the Beautiful, Guiding Light, As the World Turns, I'm sure anybody can think of some cancer scenario with any of these soap operas that we so familiar with, we grew up watching. I can't recall the exact characters' names, but I used to watch them at my grandmother's side. So I'm sure I've seen on multiple soap operas somebody getting cancer and either recovering or finding some miracle and going through the different things. And we're not saying that all of it is accurate, because like we say, it's different from everybody. So forgive the misguided displays of cancer patients that we've seen over the years, because those of you, like we say, it's only those of you who've gone through it, you know what it is about. So if you've seen anything on TV depicted in any way that you feel is disrespectful, I ask that you forgive them, because we know they're trying to entertain, but at the same time they don't really know. My first cancer experience, I'm reading from the chat, was an ex-boyfriend who died with throat cancer. May he rest in peace. That's Felix Leon. Okay, so throat cancer, wow. Like we say, it can attack any part of the body. You can get it in your skin, you can get it in your throat. One of the rarest forms I read was pancreatic cancer. This one is one of the rarest forms, because you don't know until it's too late, because there's no symptoms. So pancreatic cancer, that's one of those that don't show any signs. So I want to go through some of the shows that I have seen where cancer was depicted in some form in the show. Not all that I've seen, but those that I know of. I went through a list. There was a list of 212 TV shows and movies that I could find where cancer was displayed in some form, and that is including some of the soap operas and some of our favorite series, such as Grey's Anatomy. I never finished watching the whole of Grey's Anatomy, but other than just patients in the regular show, we also had some of the stars of the show come down with some form of cancer and show different aspects of it. So Grey's Anatomy is already a medical series, so it showed it in so many different aspects. And like I mentioned earlier, The Bold and the Beautiful, that's one of those that was on the list, and also Guiding Light. So that's already something that we know almost everybody's familiar with, these, either one of these soap operas. And Grey's Anatomy is a very popular show, many seasons. I don't think I ever got past season 6 or something like that. So there are so many seasons, and they show you so many different medical dramas within that, and then cancer was always a big aspect of that. There was another show called Breaking Bad. I have never actually watched Breaking Bad, but I've heard so much about it. I do believe it was a teacher who was fighting cancer and started selling, I'm not sure, but some form of drug. I'm not sure if it's heroin or what it was, or if he was making a drug, but he got into that process in the whole process of him getting cancer. The famous movie Saw, the first one, the villain, he is doing all what he's doing, killing people, and it all started because he developed cancer and survived. Or rather, he's still alive. It's not necessarily that he survived cancer, but he's still going strong, and somehow he feels that putting persons in this type of situation will help them do better in their life. So if you've ever watched the horror series, there's a series of movies called Saw, SAW. The very first one is basically depicting that, and then it goes on in various alterations through season. I think there's up to Saw 4 or something like that. There's a movie came out in 2009 called Watchmen. It's mostly a superhero movie, but it does touch on the aspect of cancer a little bit. There is a superhero called Dr. Manhattan. I think he was involved in some form of a radioactive accident and he got powers. But every time he gets into a relationship with a woman, apparently she develops cancer. So that was one of the aspects of that movie. There's a movie called A Monster Calls. It's based on a little boy who starts hallucinating, for lack of a better word, hallucinating that this monster is coming to visit him. And it's all basically showing how he's dealing with his mother's cancer. So his mother has cancer, and while he's witnessing her going through it, he's doing this imaginary monster that he's talking to. But it's almost like it's basically his coping mechanism to her having cancer. The movie Patch Adams, which stars Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams, it's one of those movies where it's not necessarily a comedy, because we know Robin Williams more for his comedy, but he does have a couple of serious movies. So Patch Adams is sort of on the line of the serious side, but it's still a comedy where he becomes a doctor, but there's this experience he has in a children's cancer ward where he's cheering up some children by being a clown, by being funny, and it's just he prefers that brand of medicine when it comes to treatment. He prefers to make you laugh, he prefers to make you lift your spirits. So that was one of his turning points in the movie, was when he was able to cheer up a room full of children by being a clown for them, and that becomes almost like his brand of medicine. So that's Patch Adams. There's this movie New Year's Eve. It's a very strange movie where it shows you the life of several different people on New Year's Eve. And there's one particular person who is in hospital. He has cancer, and his daughter somehow comes to him just before midnight and steals him out of his room and whisks him away in a wheelchair onto the roof of the hospital so that he can watch the fireworks and to celebrate welcoming the new year. So that's just a little aspect of the movie, but it was a very sweet moment. It was like a little hijinks between father and daughter. It was a nice little moment in the movie. I don't know if everybody else would know this one, but this one is one of my main movies because I know this one so very well. I think I've seen it a million times. A Walk to Remember. So it's the typical high school bad boy falls in love with the sweet Christian girl, but turns out that she has cancer and she's just living her life, doing what she has to do. She knows she has it, but people bully her and everything, and she doesn't mind because she has her head on straight. And then he tries to make everything on her bucket list happen before she passes away. It's one of those really great movies. It's a tearjerker. Walk with your box of tissues if you're gonna watch it. If you have not watched it yet, it's really nice. It stars Mandy Moore. She started out as a pop singer and she went into movies. She's done quite a few movies, so A Walk to Remember is one of her most memorable ones. The next movie is The Fault in Our Stars. This one, I don't want to give out too much for persons who have not seen it, but it's basically two teenage cancer patients. They meet each other in a, when you have groups where persons with similar issues, they come, like almost like when you have Alcoholics Anonymous or different addictions, but this one is for cancer patients. They meet in this group and they fall in love, and they travel to Amsterdam together and they have a little bit of a time. I'm not gonna spoil it. This one is a really great one, The Fault in Our Stars. So if you have not seen it, I recommend you watch it. It's also another tearjerker. So typically these are the type of movies that really hits you in the heart, Another one is called My Sister's Keeper. I can never seem to remember the name of the younger actress, but Cameron Diaz plays the mother to two daughters and a son, and her eldest daughter has cancer, and her youngest child was born so that she could get stem cells, when you get the cord blood. So they literally had another child just to have cord blood for the first child who developed cancer. And they do several surgeries. She's growing up and several surgeries are being done to get different things from her to help the eldest daughter, until they get to one point, I think, I am not 100% sure, my memory is correct, if it was a kidney that she was supposed to give to her older sister, and she was willing to give her sister everything to keep her alive and to keep her going and to try all sorts of treatments, but the sister wanted it to stop. She wanted the mother to stop and just let the girl be herself, let her live her life. But it has a very interesting ending. I won't give away all of it. So My Sister's Keeper, that one is another tearjerker as well, but it has it has its fun moments as well. It's a really nice movie. Sweet November stars Charlize Theron and our well-known star of The Matrix, and we know him these days as the bearded vigilante who killing anybody who hurts his dog. So they star in this movie Sweet November, and it's a bit strange, but it also takes a look at some of what goes on in the mind of a cancer patient and the things that they do that might seem strange to other people. Like, for example, she was trying to rescue dogs from a testing facility. So she would do certain things that would seem strange to regular people until they found out later on that she had cancer. That's why she was doing all what she was doing. So that's another interesting movie, Sweet November. Persons may be very familiar with the song from the Moulin Rouge, which is sung by Missy Elliott, Pink, Maya, and Christina Aguilera. But in the movie itself, the actual movie Moulin Rouge, the main character does have a form of cancer which affects her throat. I'm not sure, I can't remember what type she had, but it did affect her throat and it affected her singing, the actual star of the movie. Okay, so this is it for our look into how prevalent cancer is in entertainment, especially when it comes to movies and in terms of series. We did touch on Grey's Anatomy, and in terms of soap operas as well. So these are some of the areas where, like we say, almost everybody knows somebody or knows of somebody. There's not even a 3 degrees of separation between us and a cancer patient at this point in our lives. So I do hope that we've answered some questions for you here tonight. I also hope that I've given you some things to think about in terms of how you relate to anybody with cancer. We want to say good night to Luciana, to Vanelsa. I want to shout out Merlin, Elizabeth, Cecilia, Quilda, Janelle, and Brenna. That's coming from Annie. I want to say good night to you, Miss Calixta Wilfred. Thanks for joining us. Give a big shout out to those of you in Bouton. We want to thank you so very much for all your support down in Bouton. Bouton is one of our most supportive areas alongside Barron's Drive. Good night to you, Dana, Philippi. Thanks for logging on to Let's Connect. So it's about that time where we're gonna say good night to you, and we do hope that you enjoyed our program this evening, that you got as much information as you could out of it. So we want to give a special shout out to Annie for being very active. Good night to you, Vincent Peter. Thanks for logging on to Let's Connect. I do hope that Miss Phaedra Brandis, thank you so very much for logging on. Want to make sure we catch everybody. So thanks for joining in. Until next week, Tuesday, we'll be back with Let's Connect at 8 p.m.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Venture into the ozone at Quartz Optical. Get your free eye exam plus free children's frames with any lens purchase. Adults get 25% off frames and lenses when you shop today with no cash. 3 to 24-month credit terms available. So book your appointment online today at quartzoptical.com. Get in on the deals and save now. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Promotion runs till August 31st, 2022. Special conditions apply.
Ride with me on a brand new Etiquette motorcycle from Porsche. Shop today and choose from our selection of new exciting models in a variety of colors. Ask about our comprehensive packages that include financing and affordable monthly payments, registration, insurance, and extended warranty. Come ride away with a brand new Etiquette motorcycle starting from $9,599. Available exclusively at Porsche. Porsche, bring it for you home.
Select customers whose accounts are in arrears are encouraged to call or send a WhatsApp message to our credit control section at 728-9752, 728-9754, 728-97